Oh, hi, Carol. Carol from Crinkled Path is here.
Hi, Carol.
Um, she felt bad last week because she had clicked the notification bell and yet somehow wasn't notified.
Oh,
So
yeah.
she was sitting in a pool, in a swimming pool with her family, with her granddaughter.
Oh,
Imagine.
oh, yeah. I remember that. I think I caught that part of the conversation.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah. Well, or was that, or maybe you're thinking about Gigi Hanna, who lives in Palm Springs and
oh,
was
could be. Yeah.
was texting from the pool.
Oh, yeah,
Anyway,
yeah. That was it. That was it. Yeah.
yeah, and
Oh,
our hearts just bled for her.
yeah.
I did.
Hello, Kim.
Oh, and Kim Newberg. Well, she lives and breathes.
She
My
does.
Kim, way back when, you hinted in a comment on a video that you were going to send me an email. And I cry myself to sleep every night thinking, oh, one of these days you're going to send me a video. Not a video, an email. So how's that for laying some guilt on you? And Caroline is here to see Caroline. Caroline
Yeah.
on the hillside
Good,
is here.
good
So
name. Good
welcome.
name. Hmm.
I did type in a little bit of a welcome message there with, well, but you have your channel name below your face there too. So
Yeah.
that's great. And of course, as we go along, oh, and Susie is here.
Hi,
Um,
Susie.
oh, and Kim is saying, oh, I kind of forgot. I don't email much. Yeah, and then I
That's a likely
realized,
excuse, Kim.
hey, Kim,
Mm.
you're outnumbered here.
Yeah.
Um, I knew that she does look at her Instagram. So when I had half a shopping bag full of Fentex yarn, I text, if somebody can make a silk purse out of a sow's ear, it's going to be Kim. So
Yep.
I texted her and I said, any use for Fentex? And she said, well, not much. And I realized that I never responded to her. So it's a little bit like we, the pot calling the kettle black.
Yep.
Anyway, for anyone who may be new to Caroline, um, Caroline's channel is called Caroline's Craft Tree. And well, it's below her picture, of course, and it's also in the text. So I think we want to begin. Now, way back when, it might have been after my infamous trip or maybe the days leading up to my infamous trip to Winnipeg to meet Kim and Thelma. Somehow in conversation or emails or whatever, I found out that you're part Ukrainian. So in honor of that, I'm wearing this faux stitched blouse here that,
Okay.
oh, if I go, what, how, I mean, no, not even remotely close to the embroidery that a good Ukrainian woman would do in a blouse.
Yeah.
However, I'm doing it in your honor.
Oh, there you go.
I had to adjust the little doohickey tie here because the neck is so big. I didn't want to accidentally flash a boob,
Uh,
although maybe it would have helped ratings.
it
I
might
don't
have
know.
helped ratings. You never know.
I'm sure
Anything's
there are a
worth a
lot.
try these days.
I'm sure there are a lot of people out there thinking, "Oh, if only I could see an old lady's cleavage."
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get serious. You don't know this, but yesterday I spent several hours with you. I was not sitting at my desk. I was just continuing to go through my ribbon and organizing and so on. And so I turned YouTube on the TV. Now, of course, there's no way to comment on the TV, but I definitely helped your watch hours because
Well,
it was
that's good.
probably five straight hours. Now, the beauty of doing it that way is that you have the option of just picking, I think it's called shuffle.
Okay.
So it randomly just shows me whatever it wants to. So it seemed like it was quite a few of your longer videos, like your monthly folio ones and so on.
Oh, yeah.
So I think I saw all of those, but I did want to draw viewers' attention to the video you did where you were showing all that ephemera. And well, number one, it made me feel better about the amount of ephemera that I have, because I think you have me beat, or at least we're running neck and neck. But the beauty of watching a video like that is that you get to see, because you did a little bit of a description about, oh, this was what I did here, and this was what I did here, and this is a digital, and here I stitched, and there I added lace. And it was a great chance for people to see a whole bunch of ideas in kind of a short amount of time. So I was pretty impressed with that. And I have to say that I think that, I guess it made me wonder, number one, how long you've had your channel. So I'll start
Well,
there. How long have you
yeah,
had your
I
channel?
think it's been about 7 years, but for a few years, I didn't really do anything. I just posted the odd video of a journal I made or something. It's just been the last maybe 4 years or so that I've really been doing like tutorials and,
Yeah.
posting a little bit more, but
Yeah.
yeah. So,
Well, if you're at over 5,000 subscribers in 4 years since you've gotten
yeah,
active,
I'm
I
not
think that,
quite at 5,000. I'm hoping to reach 5,000 this year. So
okay, well,
I'm
people
at like
here.
4,500 and something now. So getting close,
Okay, well,
getting close.
yeah, yeah, cool. Because we do keep striving for those milestones.
Yeah.
So I know from, some of the emails we've done and obviously watching each other's videos and commenting on them, that you are um a self-described tomboy. that you grew up around horses and you love fishing and all that kind of stuff. And you can talk about that, but I guess I'm also curious, when did you begin crafting?
Well, we've always crafted. My mom was a big crafter, and so was my Auntie Lol. She wasn't really my aunt, but she lived with my grandpa, and she didn't want us calling her grandma, so we called her Auntie Lol. And she was a big crafter, and they used to live right next to us. So my mom did all kinds of crafting. So we started crafting really, really young. And all four of us girls craft. I have three sisters, and we
Yeah,
all do a form of crafting. My one sister does mostly crocheting, my other sister does quilting, and my other one does plastic canvas, mostly for the most part. Whereas I
yeah.
do a wide variety of, you know, I've done it. If I see something new, I got to try it. So,
Well, and that's the other thing I picked up on, because of course, I think I became aware of your channel probably through Kim's Happy Mail movement.
okay.
Um, because again, there are so many channels out there. How, unless somebody name drops somebody, how do we really find out about each other? So that was the other thing that I picked up on when I was watching and listening to those videos yesterday, is that you do seem to be able to do it all. You do beading. You do, well, for heaven's sakes, you were crocheting a dangle
Yeah.
yesterday and just working beads into it. And I'm thinking, hey, I know how to do a chain stitch.
Well,
Thank you,
there you
John.
go. You're halfway there to making a dangle now.
Well,
Uh,
and I was thinking, if that's all I remember from what Jonna taught me, then I can still do something decorative with it. Um, so yeah, and the other thing I remember during the Happy Mail movement, that you had sent, I can't remember now if it was a journaling card or what it was, but it was that, I think you call it, what do you call it? Pin embroidery?
Yeah, I call it pin stitching.
Pin stitching.
And
And
whether
I
that's
couldn't
the
believe
proper
it.
name, I have no idea, but that's what I call it.
And
Um,
I'm thinking to myself, holy cow, is that detailed? It looks very time consuming. Now you claim that it's interesting, and I know I think you've have videos on it and tried to teach it. And it's just it's kind of just amazing to me that you seem to have these different areas of interest. So
yeah,
that's a
yeah,
direct
I love anything hand stitching. Like I find it very relaxing.
yeah,
And that's why I do so much of it on so many of my projects because I like doing it. You know, I'll
yeah,
turn on YouTube in the evening and I'll do a bunch of stitching while I'm sitting here because I
yeah,
craft and my computer's like right there. So it makes it
yeah,
very easy to do them that
yeah.
way. So, but now
And
I'm into the crazy quilting and I really love doing that too. So just to make
yeah,
like journal covers. Well, and you got
yeah.
one of those. So still
Well, I
waiting
was
for you and Kim and Brenda to do a video on what you do with that cover. Give me some ideas on finishing them off. So
well, and that's yeah, so you spread the homework out among three of us. And I was going to reference that as well because like I've done slow stitched covers and I've done, sort of well, I guess basically that's the umbrella that would describe what I've done with either machine or hand stitching or a combination of both. But then, yeah, you sent that happy mail, and there's this beautiful thing in there in yours and my favorite color, purple. So I'm thinking, holy cow. Now, when just for those of you in the chat, and anyone watching, when I first invited Caroline to be a guest, she was concerned that she didn't know the technology, didn't have, whatever equipment was necessary to do this. I have to say, it doesn't take anything special. But to prove it to her, we did a little face-to-face dry run practice session maybe a month or so ago. And at that time, I asked you where this idea about the crazy stitching, or what do you call it? Crazy covers,
crazy quilting journal cover.
crazy quilting journal covers. Yeah. And at that time, you sent me a link for a woman. And of course, then I binge watched her.
Yeah,
Between the two of us, we're going to remember. I do know her name is Sonia. Her first name is
yeah,
Sonia.
I can't remember what her last name is or something,
And
but
she's
yeah,
from
she does some
Europe.
pretty. Yeah, I think New Zealand or Australia. I
Oh,
think she's
oh,
from.
okay. I thought Europe.
So
But anyway, yeah, that's another way. If you want to get another look at someone else's approach to this, maybe reach out to me afterwards and I can find that woman's name. But
yeah,
um it's taking slow stitching, I think, to the next level because
yeah,
of course the beading,
yeah.
and you do some pretty fancy embroidery stitches there. Mine tend to be simpler,
Well,
but
when it comes to things like beading and using up scraps, Kim is my hero for that. So
oh, well, yes, she
she's
does.
she's
She
good
does
at
set the
bring
bar
using
pretty
up
high.
those scraps that people would just throw away. So, but
Yeah,
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 so,
yeah. Um, so the other thing that I think that you should be famous for, if you're not, is the score you did on that jewelry lot.
oh yeah,
And if I remember, that was through Facebook Marketplace.
yes, it was on Facebook Marketplace, and the guy actually lived just a couple blocks away from my place.
Okay. So
So
you didn't have to hire a U-Haul trailer to
no,
go pick it up.
no, but I had to carry a lot of bags because he had it in a bin, and he said that there was about 200 pounds of jewelry. Well, I think
Yeah.
there was more like 300 pounds. There was a lot of it.
It felt like it
And
as you were lugging those
oh,
bags around.
it was, and I still shake my head and think, would I ever do it again? I don't know, because I've got more jewelry than I even know what to do with. But I've been
Um,
using bits and pieces and whatnot. It was fun going through it all. I will say
yeah.
that.
Well, and
No,
you did share it with some of us too, so
I
that was
did. I
nice.
shared it with a few people.
Hmm. So I would just venture to say that you would do it again.
I probably would. Yeah.
Yeah. So if anyone has ever thought about buying broken and I don't know, you can't really call it thrifted, I guess, but you used jewelry, you got to check out Caroline's channel. There were several videos. Number one, showing the haul and the various stages of the sorting and so on. Did you get it all washed yet, or do you
Yeah.
wash it in?
Pretty much all of it has been washed. I
Okay,
sorted it, semi-sorted it first, and then I
yeah,
kind of went to washing it, and then I took stuff apart because anything with strings or elastic, I cut apart right away
yeah,
because they were falling apart and stuff. So that
yeah,
gave me tons and tons of beads and
yeah.
whatnot, and,
Well, and
and
sometimes those things are kind of gross too,
they are
strings and
some of them.
elastic because they're
Yeah,
it's the
honestly,
skin.
when I was sorting it, my hands would be black.
Yeah.
After doing a couple hours of sorting. So yeah, it was
An-
nasty.
Another thing that Caroline has had the opportunity to do in the last year is to move. Now, I don't know if that's a blessing or a curse, probably a little bit of each. Now, not having, like when you're a farmer, you're pretty well tied to the land. So we're not about to relocate. The next stop will be the funeral home, that kind of thing. So we are where we are. But I always think, and I try not to envy anyone, but I always think to myself, wouldn't it be lovely to start with a blank slate, a clean palette? So your current space is bigger than what you had previously. And I know you did some videos on how you set it up. And do you want to maybe just talk a bit about what that whole experience was like, other than back breaking and gut busting, and you had a lot of help
Yeah.
from your family?
Well, we had decided that when I turned 65, we were going to look into um, possibly. None of
Whoops.
us are getting younger and stuff. So
Yeah.
um, I turned 65 and we started looking into it, thinking, well, it's going to be a few years down the road. Well, because we had to find an apartment, then we had to sell what we were living in, and
Yeah.
just there was a lot of ducks had to be lined up. Well, it
Yeah.
all happened like bang. Within a couple months, we were looking at moving because
Yeah.
we had found a place. Our place had sold. It was just like, wow, like this was meant to be. So didn't have a lot of time to like prepare and stuff, but um, we had I needed a craft room. That was probably number one. I didn't really need a place to sleep, but I needed a craft room. So so we got a 2-bedroom apartment, and yeah, we moved in. It was my other room was square footage wise, it was probably the same, but it was laid out really weird, the old place. It was kind of almost a C-shaped room. So there was
Oh,
no big places to set up a nice table or anything like that.
yeah.
Whereas this room is kind of square. So I had lots of room to put stuff, shelves along the walls, etc., that type of stuff.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there was moving and then waiting to get like a new computer desk and some new cupboards and get them assembled and all that kind of stuff. So it took quite the process, but it
Yeah.
was nice being able to start and decide, okay, let's think about this. What didn't I like about my old room? What would I want to
Yeah.
change, etc. So, and I was lucky enough in this room that I could set up a second table, which was really nice. So I have a small work area at my computer desk, but then I have a bigger table where I do my filming. And if I'm doing sorting stuff or, want to do a bigger project, I have a bigger area to sit and do it in, which I really, really like. Plus, when my granddaughters are here, we can sit there and craft. So,
Yeah.
because they're soon to be 4 and the youngest just turned 2. And the one that's turning 4 loves to paint and color and stuff. And I
Yeah.
try everything to encourage her to do that. So she
Yeah.
really loves to do that here. And we do stamping and that type of stuff as well. So
Yeah.
she's really excited to come to grandma's and do all that stuff.
Yeah.
So
And maybe you were running a fever that day and forgot, but you did say in a comment or an email that if I'm ever out your way, come and craft at your big table. So
oh yeah, for sure. For sure.
now it's
So,
here. It's out in the open in front of
and
these
if it's while the
witnesses.
Lions Club's on, we can go there. And I'll take
Oh,
you to all the thrift stores and everything. So
oh, trust me, we're going to go to the Lions Club. I just want to say hi to Denise and to Susan who just joined us. And I forgot to say in the beginning that you're located in beautiful British Columbia. So that the way the sale and the moving all happened, that was probably as a result of the housing situation at the time that
yeah.
things just fell into place.
Yeah, yeah, we were so lucky. Like everything just and yeah, just everything fell into place. We were surprised on how well, all the ducks lined up because when it started, the whole process didn't start off well. And we're like, oh my God, this is going to take like forever.
Yeah.
And in in the end, it felt like it was taking, well, while it was happening, it felt like it was taking forever. But when it was all over and done, it was like, that only took a couple months. Like,
Yeah.
what were we,
Uh,
what were we worried about? Like it was surprising. It was
yeah.
unbelievably surprising.
Yeah.
So,
And as somebody who's been, trying to rationalize my own space here, and I've been going through my ribbon, and in fact, I took a bunch of stuff to the school that's about to open, a new charter school that's opening in our community. So, got a few craft supplies to share. I went through my 12 by 12 papers and I donated about 3 inches worth of that. So as I'm doing these little sections, the part that I think is the absolute best aspect of moving is the fact. Now you had to do it in a rush, so maybe you took a few shortcuts, and I know Carol from Crinkled Path went through the same thing. As the days progress and as the clock is and the calendar are winding down, you need to vacate. But I think in a perfect world, as you're packing up, you get to touch every single thing and you get to sort of make a decision. Is this something I want to take? Is this worth the space, the time, the brute force to move it, or not? Whereas the rest of us who are doing this sort of piecemeal decluttering and cleaning and organizing, we're doing it a cupboard at a time or a drawer at a time. Whereas you and others would have gotten to, as I say, touch every single thing, move it, and then decide where is the best place to put this. And am I using the best possible system?
yeah. When I was packing up, I tried to do it very rationally, and I really put like-minded things in the same box. I
Yeah.
numbered all my boxes, and I had a book on what was in each box because I thought when I get there, before I unpack, I might want to craft. And
Yeah.
where am I going to find the stuff? So I thought I did a really good job of that. But then my 2 boys moved us. So when they put it in my craft room, of course, there was no rhyme or reason. The boxes were just piled on top of each other. And so I would do, maybe 6 boxes every day. I would pack them up in our old place, and then I put them in a corner of the bedroom or somewhere there. So then when it all got brought here, it all got kind of piled in the corner. And after the kids moved everything and I came into the craft room, I'm just like, oh my, I actually had that much stuff. Like the room, like I thought, where am I going to set a little desk to set up my computer right away or everything? Because there were so many boxes in the room. I'm just like, what am I going to do? So, but as it turned out, it worked out okay. And I just unpacked one box at a time. And if it
Yeah.
was something that I wasn't sure about, I'd close it back up and I'd put it in a different area, because then that was kind of the last stuff I would go through. But yeah,
Okay.
and I'm still missing a couple things. That the one thing is my crocodile. I can't find it, but I'm sure I've
Oh,
used it since I've been here, but I cannot find it. I even asked my one sister, did I give it to you? And she's like, no. So, but I'll come
oh,
across
they're
it.
so quick
Probably,
to deny.
yeah.
That's
Probably when I go and buy another one, that's when I'll find my old one.
okay.
So,
Don't go out and buy one just yet. That you can use a little hand punch or something since
yeah.
until then.
Mhm.
It's Murphy's Law, you know.
Yep.
Okay, Carol is saying, still waiting for my craft room, and I'm glad my family made a temporary space for me. We were not really analyzing. We had to pack it too fast. I've been analyzing since I got here. And she too still hasn't found everything. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, it seems like as crafters and makers, we're destined to spend a good part of every day searching for something,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
no matter how clever we think we
Yeah.
are and how well organized.
And I even went out and I bought a label maker so I could label everything. But
And
whether
have
that's
you?
worked, I don't know, but we'll see.
Yeah. So have you been labeling since you've been in the
I
new
have.
space?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I've
And is it
labeled all my
working?
drawers, all my plastic containers. I've put labels on them and stuff. So,
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty impressed with the fact that you made a list and, did so much detail work, because honestly, I think the impulse would be to get caught up in the moment and or in the urgency of the situation. Got to get so much done that it would be easy to cut corners and take shortcuts. So
yeah. Yeah.
you must have an analytical mind.
Well, I find the older I get, the more organized I want to be. So, I think that was kind of one reason for it. Because I
Yeah.
always wasn't like that. I've always been fairly organized, but not as
Yeah.
organized as what I am now.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and I do think that's definitely a tool as our memories get a little more shaky.
yeah. Mm.
Oh, and Kim is saying it's been 4 years and she still has stuff to unpack.
Yeah.
And Carol said, I had helpers move my stuff and they packed them 3 deep and 4 across with no system.
Oh,
And not so fast. Joni has just joined us. Hi, Joni.
hi, Joni.
Um, Kim and anyone else who's listening, or you've probably all heard the advice from decluttering experts is, whether it's your wardrobe or shoes or stuff in the kitchen, whatever, doesn't matter what the object is, put it in a box, and if you haven't looked in that box in 6 months or a year, you can safely donate it because clearly you haven't needed it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
of course, that's not my policy, but and I wouldn't do that. But
Well, things like clothing and stuff, like, I own 3 pair of shoes. That's it. That's all I own. And I have
yeah,
one jacket. That's it. But when it comes to craft stuff, well, that's a whole different story.
that's your weakness. And maybe just to out you a little bit, Caroline got dressed for this in honor of this event, this interview here. Normally her crafting uniform consists of pajamas, so if you
That's
can't
right.
get
Yeah,
much more comfortable than
I
that.
know. Uh, you're
and
giving
and
away all my secrets.
well, yes. Jonna said that she just finished putting together her last drawer system. Um, yeah. Uh, and I thought, like, some of us are in a sort of a text group, and she mentioned this the other day, and I thought to myself, and then she says, and then I'll be finished. And I says, finished? Farming, housework, and organizing is never finished in my experience.
Yeah.
But she insists that her space is organized, but it's this other room, the overflow area
Oh,
that maybe
yeah.
needs a little bit of work. Yeah. Um, but speaking of, excuse me, speaking of telling secrets, you're a tomboy. You grew up loving horses and fishing and all of that. Um, Now, you've told me before we went live that you've had to curtail some of that because, of course, bodies age and the
Yeah.
camping. And so, how did you swing doing all that um, tomboy stuff, that outdoorsy sporting stuff, with the finer female arts of crafting?
Well, you don't have to be a girl to craft, right? I mean, so I mean, my brother and I, like, my brother was younger than me, but we spent a lot of time playing together,
Yeah,
and we played outside. I don't ever remember having like a doll or anything like that because we were outside kids. We were born and raised out in the country. My dad was an avid hunter and fisherman, so we went with him all the time. I never liked the hunting part, but I always loved the fishing part. And we would go
mm,
fishing pretty much every weekend and stuff. And it was just the place to be, was outside. So
yeah,
as I aged and became an adult, things changed a little bit, but I always liked being outside. And then, when I probably in my late teens, I got into horses and did some barrel racing and that type of stuff in my younger days. And I always liked animals, so I had my own little mini farm. I had rabbits, chickens, ducks, geese, all that. And I butchered them for meat and I sold the meat and stuff. That was how I made my money when I was in my teens. And that helped support my addiction to my horse and stuff. And yeah, and I was into motorbikes as well when I was younger. But once I had kids, I wasn't able to quite do so much because, you got to be home for the kids, and
yeah,
kind of drifted away from being a tomboy. But when I was
yeah,
younger, my idea of dressing up was putting on a clean t-shirt and a clean pair of jeans. You
yeah.
know, so yeah. So
Well, and is it you that, and maybe you just said this, I was trying to I had one eye on you and one eye on the comments, but didn't you say in a recent, or I don't know how recent it was, but a video about raising rabbits and breeding rabbits and the
yeah,
whole.
I raised rabbits for meat as well as I used to show them, and I used to go, BC, Alberta, and even into the States showing them. I raised what they call Netherland dwarfs, which they're about 2 pounds full grown. And I even went to the American Rabbit Breeders Association, like their main show that they have, which, if you win there, you're doing pretty good. And I actually won a few awards there with some of my Netherland dwarfs and stuff. So, and I used to tell people, like, I get like about $100 for a rabbit. So if you figure that out per pound, that's a pretty good price for a 2 pound rabbit. So but it was a fun experience over the years.
Well, and they're so prolific in their litters too.
Oh yeah, yeah. Uh,
So
but
that's
yeah,
where we went wrong. Raising cattle, you only get one calf a year.
yeah, and like when my kids were little, we had like pygmy goats and stuff like that. Well, I went to an auction sale one day and they had baby emus there. Well, I thought I've never owned an emu, so I bought one and brought it home. Kids called him Scooby Doo, so we raised him till he was an adult, and then we sold him. So
Oh,
but things like that. I was always into animals and whatnot. So
Carol is saying that you guys are more alike than ever. She says she's kind of a minimalist in all areas of her home, a tiny home, except for the crafting supplies. Well, I would say that also in the whole love every animal, buy one or two of every animal concept
yeah,
as well, because of course
yeah,
they have a small farm in Northern California. Um, so That's really cool. Now I see there's an Yvette Quayle who's
Hi,
just
hi,
signed in.
Yvette.
Is
Yeah,
that somebody you
yeah,
know?
yeah.
Well, welcome.
Yvette has a consignment shop on coffee, so she helps sell people's journals and stuff. So
Okay.
so
Well, that's
I'll give
good to
her a
know.
thumbs up. People should check her channel out and stuff. So
So what is her is she just on coffee?
for selling, yes, but she has a YouTube channel and stuff. So
And is her channel her name?
yes,
Now, I think you and I are maybe the only people in civilization who call it coffee as opposed to Kofi. And my reason for that is their whole line about buy me a coffee.
yeah,
You wouldn't say buy me a Kofi. So that's why I think it's coffee, but I don't know that for sure.
yeah,
I do want to say that you, well, and Kim, and I guess there are other people out there too, are very prolific, very active on coffee. Constantly, like I believe your strategy is to link a video. Every video you make, you link to coffee, so it appears there as well, right?
yeah, yeah. Like I had, well, I still have an Etsy shop for years. But
Yeah,
I found that Etsy just kind of, I don't know, the rules just got too much. So then I decided, well, I'm going to open up a coffee shop. And I like it there. And it's a great place to give away freebies, to sell
yeah,
digital stuff, post videos, almost use it as a blog type idea.
yeah,
And there's not a whole bunch of fees related
yeah,
to it, which is nice.
yeah. Well, and I did want to mention that too, to people who may not be familiar with you. You do a lot of freebies. You create a lot of digitals, and I wanted to dig into that a bit. So between being the outdoor loving kid, the kid who loved animals and the outdoors, to then how we kind of know you now, um, did you work out well, as you were raising your family and so on? Did you work outside the home?
Not until
Did you
my
have a
kid,
career?
not really, not what I would call a career. Before I had kids, I did a lot of farm work, mill work, outside stuff.
Hmm.
And then when the kids were little, I didn't see paying a babysitter for somebody to raise my kids. So I was
Yeah.
lucky enough, I was able to stay home with them. So then as they aged, when they were getting like 8 and 9, I went back into the workforce of being a waitress of all things. I didn't like it at all. But then I did get into management of fast food, mostly in Subway. I
Oh yeah.
was manager at a Subway for 10 years. And it was an okay job. It supplied for me and the kids and stuff. But
Yeah.
it
I
was
was
nice when I was able to retire.
Yeah. I was just wondering where along the way did you learn what I would call graphic design? Are you self-taught? Did you take a course, or because Caroline is constantly designing digitals, and of course some are freebies, some are for sale, and that's again what keeps the old uh engine of commerce humming along. We do have some commerce happening. So what led you to designing your own digitals?
Well, it is totally self taught. And it started because many, many years ago, I wanted to make a website about rabbits. So that's how it actually started because I thought, oh, wouldn't it be fun to give away free rabbit digital stuff for people to use on their websites? So that's kind of where it started. And it just kind of progressed from there. And of course, now there's easier ways to make it and come up with the stuff, but that's pretty much how it started. So, and then I
For
love
the
doing
love
the
of a rabbit.
I know, I know. And I love doing the digital stuff.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
and
we're going to talk.
it's uh,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say, a lot of people don't like using digitals in their journals, and some people love it. And that's the
Yeah,
nice thing about junk journals is you can do what you want, use what you want.
exactly.
It's all an individual, personal thing on what you use.
Yeah.
So
Before this comment disappears, I just wanted to say that Yvette said last name is Quali, I guess. Quali, like quality without the it.
okay, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, when we read things, we don't have to worry about pronunciation.
Yeah.
So now I noticed that, and of course, you raise a good point, and certainly this isn't the first episode where we're talking about digitals and people's preference and the influence of AI and all of that on people's creativity and design work. I notice that, well, I'll just talk a bit about my own experience. When I fell into this whole thing, of course, you see those most, those biggest channels, the highest subscriber numbers, the algorithms point you to certain people. And of course, I was being exposed to all these digitals, the Pam at the Paper Outpost and Gail Augustinelli and Roxy or Rachel from Roxy Creations and Shabby Dabby Dude on, a lot of these people are in other parts of the globe, never mind certainly far away from where I am living. And of course, I did my share of buying this stuff and printing this stuff. And I realize that now I have a file, like a drawer full of, inches worth of stuff that I printed, but I haven't really used to full effect. And in my own case, I can't ever, I've done it, I think once, maybe twice. I've never used a whole kit from start to finish to create a journal. If anything, they would just be used to augment, as part of, it's just another piece of paper kind of thing. But I also, because I had nothing, every time I heard about a source for a free digital, well, my goodness, I was there and I was subscribing and I was printing and all of that. And I guess for anyone who's listening, either here today live or maybe watching the replay at some future date, I want to reassure people that there is no shortage of free resources out there if you want them
That's
and
for
if you
sure. Yeah.
need them. So it's just a matter of, asking someone maybe who has a little more, who's been around a little bit longer, or probably Googling free digital, whatever. There are ways to find these things out. But given that, you and Kim have just announced a new thing, and that you have is it's something crazy. Honestly, it's crazy. Is it a free digital every day that you
Pretty
each
much.
do?
We've both been posting something every day. Um, there might be days that we don't post, because we've got other commitments or something. But yeah, we started a Facebook group where we post a free digital or digitals. Kim always gets carried away and she'll post like 20 of them. But yeah, and it takes you to our blogs and then you download the freebies from the blog. So we started a Facebook group just for that. So just her and I post freebies of
Yeah,
what we've made, trying to make it easy for people to find them and to save them and to use them.
yeah. Now, so where are these freebies located? Are they located in your coffee shop?
No, they're on our blogs. We both have blogs that we put them on. It's easy to post them there. It's easy for people to go and get them.
Mhm.
And that's kind of what we wanted.
Yeah, because I know, again, from having signed up for a bunch of things in the past, that sometimes it became such a ceremony and a half to, you know, where you'd end up with these files on Google Drive or whatever. It was a nightmare. And honestly, I don't want to go there. Now, you know, because you've tried to coax me into Facebook, that some of us are just kind of, you know, resistant. I think you almost did a little declaration of some sort when I actually got onto Facebook and posted something on in your group, but it was a damn miracle and it hasn't happened since.
Well, Facebook is not for everybody. And
Yeah,
honestly, if it wasn't for the whole junk journal community on there, I probably wouldn't be on Facebook very much.
yeah,
But it's a good way, and the groups are a good way of people with the same like-mindedness can get
yeah.
together in one spot. So,
So if you were giving advice to somebody new or somebody who maybe isn't new but wants to kickstart their exposure or get those subscriber numbers up, so you're in order of preference, you'd say coffee first and then Facebook, or they're
well,
pretty well tied,
you
or
have to have a way of directing people to your coffee, though.
yeah,
So, you know, Facebook is a good way to direct people toward your coffee. I think some people go into more, I'm going to relate it more to the digital world, but they think, oh, yeah, I can just slap a digital kit together and people are going to go and buy it. Well, you've got to get the word out there. You got to get people going to that digital kit and
yeah,
hope that they like it. And you
yeah,
can't just do one or two. You've got to keep going and going and going because
yeah,
it doesn't happen overnight. You
yeah,
know, you got to keep it going. You got to keep making stuff. You got to keep directing people to it, wherever it is, even like YouTube.
yeah,
Facebook's a good way to direct people to your YouTube or to your blog or anywhere else, whether you have an
yeah,
Etsy shop or maybe you got Shopify or whatever. You've
yeah,
got to direct people to your place
yeah,
because, you know, how else are they going to know?
yeah. And how do you feel about Instagram? Do you use Instagram much at
I
all?
do, but it's one of those places sometimes, you know, a week goes by and I think, oh, geez, I didn't post all this stuff to Instagram. So then I'll go and I'll do it.
Yeah,
It's tends to be my last place. And I don't know why, because it can be really good place to
yeah,
advertise or just show what you've been working on, etc.
yeah.
So I've got to get better than that, better at
Did
it
you
than
did
what
you
I
know
do.
that if you post to Instagram, you can toggle select something there where it would automatically post to your Facebook at the same time? Same damn
Yeah, like
post?
I don't post much to my own timeline. I
Oh,
post in the groups
oh, I
and I haven't quite figured it all out yet.
well,
Even though
sounds
I've
like
been on Facebook for years and stuff, but it's one of
yeah,
those things I never used to do much on Facebook until I started the whole junk journal thing. And like
yeah,
say, it's a great place to find like-minded people, you know,
yeah,
and share it with them.
yeah.
So
And I think if people because of course, again, some of the big names in the business have such strict rules and hoops to jump through to even be approved. And
yeah,
then, you know, you dare not do anything that even remotely smells like self-promotion or
yeah,
showing your own stuff or even
yeah,
showing something. It damn well be whatever they've created.
yeah,
And again, you know, there are reasons for all this, and people, you know, you comply with the rules or you go elsewhere. So
yeah,
it's, you know, totally a matter of choice.
yeah.
Yvette is saying that digital creation, well, I guess, is a whole new separate craft in her
Oh,
experience.
oh, for sure. Without a doubt, it is.
Yeah,
It totally is. And like I say, some people don't like using digitals, other people do.
yeah.
And, you know, now with the whole AI thing, it's much easier for people to make digitals, but a lot of
Some
people
of
don't
them
take
are
the
so ugly, though.
they are, and a lot of people like it's not just a matter of creating something with AI and posting it. You know, you've got to take the time to make sure that, you know, the people aren't cross-eyed and, you know, they got seven fingers on a hand and, you know, stuff like that there. You have to look over your stuff, and you also have to resize it and make it like 300 DPI and stuff. Because
Yeah.
when you make it's usually crappy quality. You've got to improve the quality and stuff. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, a lot of these people, they just put into AI what they want, and then they slap it for sale. Well, then people buy that and they think, well, AI is really crappy. Well, that's because the person didn't do their job in making it good enough quality to sell. But
Yeah.
AI has been around for a long time. We just didn't really know about it.
Yeah.
But now it's so much easier for people to make their own stuff. But a lot of people don't want to do that,
Yeah.
or they don't have the means to do that. And if
Yeah.
you look on a place like Etsy, even a lot of the big wig people, they're using AI to make their stuff. You can tell as soon as you look at it, you
I
know.
know.
And I like
Yeah.
to use a combination of AI, but then add some of my own elements to it to
Yeah.
make it even better. So
Yeah. And of course, it's an old bit of advice in the marketing, and promotion world, that the aspect of creating the digital is one thing, but unless you use them in your own projects, in your own videos, and kind of almost take people by the hand and guide them, you can have digitals, but they may just sit there until people see how to use them.
that's right. Yeah. And there's so many ways to make them, like so many different programs and stuff. And people have messaged me and said, I want to learn how to do digital design, like make my own journal stuff. And I'm more than willing to help people. But unless they have the same programs that I have, I
Yeah.
don't know how to help them, you know.
Yeah.
And there's lots of free stuff like Canva, for instance, you
Yeah.
know, it's fairly easy to make, but you're kind of limited too to what you can do on it.
Yeah.
Like I use
And-
Photoshop Elements, and, I know the program fairly well now, but
yeah.
there's still lots I don't know.
So I
Tons I
might
don't
have to
know about
pick
it
your
all.
brain privately.
No,
Um,
sure, anytime.
and I have been able to create some stuff in Canva. I think that things are also a moving target. I remember probably 10 years ago, when I was living a different life in a different, doing different stuff. I was first introduced to Canva, and I thought, this is not very user friendly, but I have been pleasantly surprised that it seems a lot better now. Now, I don't know. Obviously, I've changed too. So maybe I'm a little, smarter or whatever than before, but or have a little more experience under my belt. But I also think that a lot of these platforms keep evolving. So just because we think we got it down pat today doesn't mean that, next week they won't come up with an improvement
Yeah, that's right.
that's
Yeah. Yeah.
going to make
And
things
and they
better.
all and they always do improve it.
Yeah.
Because new technology comes out so they can do something
Yeah.
better. Like I used to use Photoshop Elements 2009, and I used that up till about 4 years ago. And then I finally upgraded the program, and it was totally different. It was like learning to do it all over again because so much
Uh-huh.
had changed in it, but yet the principle of it was still the same.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I did buy Photoshop Elements because, and this was a video by Took's Craft
Okay.
Table, another Canadian creator. And she was talking, or maybe I don't even remember the content of the video, but somehow just in passing, she says, "Oh yes, and I created this using Photoshop Elements, and it's so much easier than Photoshop." And of course, I didn't need to be told twice, because my solution to a lot of things is rush out and buy that thing. So I bought Photoshop Elements, um, and then I took it a step further and I bought the membership. Oh, I think it's an annual. You can't even buy a lifetime membership, but the annual membership to, um, oh, they've had a name change recently. Anyway, there's there are a million courses, a million videos on how to use it. I think,
Oh yeah.
is it Graphics Fair? I think it's Graphics Fair.
Graphics Fair. Yeah, they offer some courses. Yeah.
Yeah. But again, short of putting a gone fishing sign on my door and just isolating myself and doing this. I don't understand how a person can teach themselves to do this stuff.
Well, for me, it was just let's click this button and see what happens type idea, because, I can always start over,
Yeah.
And so that's pretty much what I did. I did buy a course once from somebody that has a YouTube channel, but it was kind of more the basics of
Oh, yeah.
Photoshop elements. But most of it was just self-taught and
Yeah.
just clicking on the buttons and playing with all the color sliders or whatever, adding layers and
Yeah.
that, and really doing digital. It's all about the layers and masking. If there was two things that I would say were the most important, those would be the two things: is layering up your stuff and using masks for your thing. So
Yeah.
basically you color in black what you don't want to see on a layer, and then it won't show in another layer.
Yeah.
So, and those would be the two main things I would say.
It sounds like Hazel might need a private lesson.
Yep.
But we'll talk about that
Whenever.
privately. I just want to acknowledge when we were talking about, you mentioned the 7 fingers. Well, apparently Kim is trying to get a 3-legged ballerina. So
Oh, there you
good
go.
luck. Hello to Hope and to Angela, the traveling crafter. Thanks,
Hi
guys,
there.
for joining us. Um, okay, so we've established that if people want to see what a woman does with 300 pounds of jewelry, they need to check out your channel. I would also venture to say that if a person wants to know how to dye just about anything, they should also check out your channel. You did a whole, I don't remember now if it was 4 videos or 5 videos, but you had that whole series showing, and this was when you were in the old place, so you were working under even more cramped conditions. Again, like you said, because of the layout of your room. You showed step by step. I mean, not in real time, but you showed step by step how you did all this dyeing. So I loved the results you got. I too have a million white things, but guess how far I've gotten? I've gotten a hamper type thing where I've got all my white stuff.
Well, that's a start. That's a start.
I don't know. I think I have to rewatch those, rewatch those. Speaking of that, should a person be washing these things to get the sizing out of them, or most of
I
the time is thrifted stuff and it's already been washed a million times?
Yeah, like if I feel it's dirty or stinky, I will wash it, but most of the time I don't.
But
I just go ahead and dye it.
occasionally we manage to buy something that's new, old stock. So if it has never been washed, it's still got that crispy feel to it. A person should probably wash it to get the sizing out of the fabric, right?
I probably would in that case.
Yeah.
So,
But yeah, you did some incredible dyeing. And if I recall, and wasn't most of it re-inkers or like liquid
I
dye?
I've used almost everything. I have a
Okay.
lot of fabric dyes, but I also use a lot of like shimmer mist and stuff because then it puts the shimmer into whatever you dye.
Yeah.
And I've used re-inkers. I've used alcohol inks. I haven't done anything with food yet, like making something out of beet juice or something like that,
Yeah.
because I've got all this other stuff
Yeah.
to dye.
Yeah.
And every result gets something different. Like even metal, you can dye metal with alcohol inks. Same as I did one about dyeing with all this jewelry. I ended up with tons of those cheap pearl type beads, and
Yes.
they dye really good. I was
Yeah, I was
surprised on
I
how
was
well they
impressed by
dye.
that. Yeah.
So, I always look for white stuff now, or even off white, or even like
Yeah.
a pale yellow or a real pale pink or something. because they
Yeah.
will all change color too.
Yeah.
Because all that stuff, you can get any color you want just by dyeing it.
Yeah.
So,
And for those of you in the chat who maybe aren't familiar with Caroline's channel or haven't seen the videos that we're talking about, she's dyed everything from seam binding to ribbon to doilies or the little motifs on doilies, because you had some tiny little itsy bitsy things that you had
yeah.
done too. And I don't think, did you do fabric pieces or no?
I've done fabric. I've done zippers. I've dyed zippers and eyelash trim. I've dyed eyelash trim. I've dyed my own embroidery floss because one day at the thrift store I found a whole case of white embroidery floss. So I've done that as well. Yeah, just and everything takes differently. Like you can
Yeah,
put 20 different laces into the same vat of dye and they'll
yeah,
all come out differently because
yeah,
they all absorb it differently.
yeah.
So you really
Depending
have to
on,
just
yeah,
see, but it all took color one way or the other.
yeah.
So
Well, and in fact, that's even better that the composition of the stuff absorbs the dye differently, because then
yeah,
you get those gradations in color, which
yeah,
is even better.
yeah,
So yeah, I need to do that. And I almost have a flat surface clean where I could actually do that. So hey, you know.
yeah,
Um now the other thing that you now oh I some of you that were later getting here didn't hear me say that because I was working, I wasn't glued to my chair yesterday. I was just working in and around my room, doing organizing and whatever, sorting. I had Caroline's channel on my TV and I just picked shuffle. So the disadvantage, I mean, there's a real advantage to that in that you're not constantly typing something or other in or making selections. It will just randomly play you a mix. Um, the disadvantage, or maybe the advantage, another advantage is that it, I believe, will show old videos and new videos and so on. So I don't even know if this is a new haul video that you did, but you scored a whole box of library envelopes or library pockets,
yep. Two
and
two boxes of them actually.
well, but
What
won't the
what
second,
what one is like blank on the front, and the other one
yeah,
has all the little squares that you would write in the date and stuff.
yeah.
So there's actually two
Oh,
boxes of them.
yeah, well, I know there were two boxes, but I thought the second one with the writing was the paper that you put into the pocket.
No, no, they're all
Okay,
adhesive and pockets, like
okay.
so.
And she scored some 1972 toilet paper with
I
crosswords printed on it.
I
Oh my
I
goodness.
remember that novelty toilet paper from years ago. You used to be able to get all kinds of stuff. And when I seen that at the Lions, I'm just like score. And I go around and I'm showing everybody at the Lions, look what I found, look what I found, because you quite often see the same people there all the time.
Yeah.
So, and they're all like, oh, well, that's nice. And I'm all excited about this roll of toilet paper.
Yeah, and they're thinking, what a weirdo. Um, so do you have to elbow little old ladies out of the way when you see good stuff and there's somebody that you see week after week?
No, I don't elbow them, I trip them. So,
Oh, okay. Whatever works. Um, and maybe let's talk a bit about that because of course now Kim has, you'd almost think this was Kim's interview, for heaven's sakes. Kim created the hashtag Thrifty Canucks. So for those of you Americans who maybe can't get enough of thrifting videos, several of us in Canada use that hashtag as well when we do our thrifting videos, and it might introduce you to new people. So typically your thrifting I would say 9.5 times out of 10 is a result of you going to, well, short form, to the Lions. And of course, Lions is an international service group. Used to be just men, now women belong as well in the same clubs. So just take it from there. You're living in BC. Um, tell us, tell us where your gold mine is for thrifting.
Well, the Lions Club in Enderby, which is it's about a half an hour drive from me. Um, they've been doing it. I want to say it's probably at least 5 years now. But they have a garage sale on the weekends, which starts in April and goes till the end of August. And of course, it's all donated stuff. And they're usually open Friday, Saturday, Sundays. So I go on Fridays. I meet my sisters there and we just shop. And I usually always get a bag full of stuff. It's all donation. And what they charge is all donation. You give them what they want. So I feel, I give them a good donation because I like the stuff that they do. I think it's a good organization and they do lots of good stuff with their money. And so I don't mind giving them, I usually give them $10 to $20 for my bag full. It really depends. If I feel I get something better, and the odd time I might give them less because really the stuff I take should have probably ended up in the garbage. But, a one man's treasure, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, so I go pretty much every Friday and just look and see what I can find. They use the curling rink, so it's really quite a big place. I actually did a short video and I put it on my shorts on YouTube of just
Oh,
what the place looks like. So I was standing at the end of it. So I just kind of did a short little video on, how big it is and stuff like that there. And yeah, it's just lots of fun going through the stuff. You never know what you're going to find. And of course, there's everything from soup to nuts,
to
you
toilet
know,
paper.
yeah, exactly. Anything from toilet paper to toilets, So yeah, it's just a really fun outing and yeah. And
So, because I'm clueless, though I know it was Carrie the Paper Monkey that told me probably a year or two ago, you got to do shorts. You'd be perfect doing shorts. Oh, do shorts. Of course, sometimes I just can't take good advice when I hear it. So, I've never done a short. I have no idea. Like you said, okay, you did a short. I'd love to see that. Are shorts searchable? Is that another heading? And
I
if I
I have no idea whatsoever. The one of the Lions Club is the first short I've ever done. So,
what
but I
is
know
that?
a lot of people make them. So
Yeah, yeah,
I don't know what the benefit is or what from them. I have no idea.
yeah.
But
Well, YouTube measures them and views and how, it's part of their whole, formula.
yeah.
Um, I just honestly sometimes I wonder about my thought process, but I just thought, my goodness, are people's attention spans not short enough already? Do we yet have to dumb this down to 10 seconds? That was my feeling. But, it could be that I'm shooting myself in the foot by not doing shorts.
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's hard to know. Yeah. A lot of people are always constantly doing them and
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I guess they do now contribute to somehow they've attached a value to it so that it does count towards those channels that are trying to, get to the monetization um threshold.
Yeah.
So it can be traditional videos, it can be shorts, a combination, and watch time and all of that. So
Yeah, because I think at one time it didn't blend in with, you had to have just YouTube. Same with the lives didn't count towards your
yeah,
views and all that kind of stuff. But
yeah,
I think they're changing all that as more and more people are doing that kind of stuff.
yeah.
So
Now I don't know if it was genius or insanity, but you came up with something called CCT 52. And I think you've been doing that it's an open collab, and it's obviously something you've done more than once. I took part in with you in 2024. And for those of you who may not know, CCT is obviously Caroline's Craftery, and 52 means 52 weeks. And essentially, Caroline came up with a bunch of prompts, and the fun way to decide what a person is going to work on in any particular week was done with the roll of the dice, with a die. And I liked the randomness of it, and I liked the fact that there was no controlling it. And I liked the fact that, oh, and sometimes I hated the fact that none of these, the 3 or 5 elements had absolutely nothing to do with each other. But I took it as a personal challenge. I will be damned if I'm going to be defeated by this. And I always made something work, although I do think I still owe you a mermaid image for one of those weeks. But so how many years have you done it? I noticed that you don't have it going in 2025. Do you alternate like every
Well,
second year, or?
I did the CCT challenge, I think, for only 2 years. The first year was I just basically told you what you had to use. But then the
Okay.
second year I came up with the dice thing, which I liked a lot better because, yeah, it was just randomness on what you
Yeah.
got. And there
Yeah.
was weeks that I do it and I'm like, should I throw the dice back or, but I thought, no, then that's defeating the whole purpose of it. But it was nice knowing that, you could fit things together that didn't go together. If you thought about it and, you got your creative mind going and stuff. But then I switched. And even before I was doing the CCT, like I've been giving a monthly freebie, I think for 6 years now, like some kind of little kit of some kind.
Yeah.
At first I was just giving people the freebie every month and, you did whatever. But then I got started on actually making stuff each month with that little freebie. And now, like 1 year I did the house journal, the ring bound house journal. And then I did a tab binded tag journal. This year we're doing the folios and stuff, which I kind of like because you can just make it and use it individually. You can just use the pieces individually,
Yeah.
or you can go ahead and make the folio like I'm doing, but make it your own. And,
Yeah.
and it's just a way of giving back to everybody, of giving them a little freebie kit to,
Yeah.
use and
And
have fun with.
if I were forced to make a confession, I would also confess that at the start of 2024, I thought, well, how hard could it be to do this with Caroline once a month? So I printed the first month, and maybe I did something with it, but honestly, I couldn't cope with doing. And again, that's me. I had other things on the go and so on. But it's certainly, do you have plans to bring CCT 52 back?
I'm not sure what I'm going to do in 26 yet. We'll see. I haven't even really thought about it too much, but I try to come up with an idea well before January 1st on what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
So I might, got to do something different though. That's the thing. So don't want to do the same challenge again. I'd want to change it up somehow to just make it different for people.
And I think that you've been a viewer here with the Heart to Hearts enough weeks probably to know about Susan at I Totally Love It and her little Sunday news broadcast. So that, of course, is a place to submit your idea so that it would get wider exposure. I'll just tell you one thing, and do what you will with it. As I've been poking into boxes and bags and shelves and drawers, I've come across some started journals, some started projects, some covers, various things in various states of being, art journals and so on. And I have to say that some of the things that I have created with you, CCT 52, um, Meg with her junk journal January, junk journal July. I haven't done that probably for a year or a year and a half or 2 years, but I came across a book that I had dedicated to that. There are a lot of people now. I don't know if it's still a free thing, but there's the Marguerite Miller thing,
Yeah.
again, 52 weeks of the year. Some of those layouts are the most beautiful things that I think I've created. And I don't know if it's because of the randomness of the prompt that it opens up some kind of a new connection up here that forces a person to look at those components differently and group them together rather than us doing what we usually do. So, as much as I wanted to take your name in vain a few weeks when I thought, oh, I'm behind again. And sometimes I would post, 3 or 4 weeks all at once. Um, I think there's definitely a place for a challenge like that. So again, take that for what it's worth.
Yeah. Well, there's lots of challenges out there, and
Yeah.
some people really, really love them, and other people don't. And I've joined a lot of challenges, and sometimes I won't get through them all. I'll maybe do
Yeah.
6 or 8 of them or something, and
Yeah.
then I just like, oh, I don't want to do one this week or whatever for whatever reason, and
Yeah.
then I just don't do them. But there is a
Yeah.
lot of really good ones out there for people that like doing them. And I know a couple people that just love them, and they do tons of the challenges and stuff. So it's good that they're
Yeah.
out there.
Yeah.
And not everybody has a creative mind. Like, they make beautiful stuff. Like, I have a friend, she only does cards. That's all she makes is cards. And we get together during the winter for crafting night and stuff once a week and that. But she can't make a card herself. She does beautiful cards, beautiful, beautiful work, but she needs the idea. So she watches YouTube, and, like, there's tons of people that make cards. So she'll find somebody, she's got the people that she follows, and
Yeah.
she has to see that card being made, and then she can make it, and she can alter it a bit, but she can't come up with that idea on her own. Her mind just does not work that
Okay.
way. And I think that's the same with any craft. Um, some people are the people that come up with all the stuff, and some people are the type that just make what somebody else is making.
Yeah.
And either way is perfectly okay.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think some people's minds just work differently. So if you give them an idea, then it's like, oh yeah, and they go ahead and they make it, and they make it their
Yeah.
own a little bit. So
I think, and I think you said a mouthful there, and I've never thought of it in that way. So I appreciate you saying that because um I think as YouTube creators, we need to keep that in mind that we truly don't know who, I mean, unless people comment, we truly don't know who's watching our stuff or why.
yeah,
So the more inclusive and the broader that we can make our stuff, the more likely we are to satisfy more people
yeah,
and
yeah,
reach
very
more
true.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And I
I
think
love
a
that.
lot
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
lot of times, like, people are bringing back old craft ideas, and we're looking at it like a new idea. Like, in
Yeah.
one of the ones that come to my mind is when people were putting wallpaper around a paper clip and, like, making a dangle from it. I did those when I was a kid. Like, my mom did those. She taught me how to do them,
Yeah.
and that's exactly what we did, was take old wallpaper and put it around a paper clip. I have actually a big shadow box of art that my kids did in school. My kids aren't old, but they're in their 30s. And they did those in school as well. And I have a necklace in my shadow box that my oldest son made for me at school. So um, there's a lot of the old crafts that are coming back, that people are bringing back. And they were such great, simple ideas, which is what they were nice. So,
Yeah. I want to capture, and sorry, I just want to capture some of these comments. Um, Carol, who's great at researching stuff, said shorts are in their own category on our channel. So I guess, there's latest video, or latest live, or latest videos, and so on, all those different sections. So I
yeah.
guess there's a thing there for shorts. And she says they tend to attract subscribers, but not always people that are actually interested in your main content. Okay, so that's good to know.
Yeah.
And then Denise has gone on to say, instead of Susan's channel is I totally love it, and Denise is saying we totally love her.
Okay.
Which is true, because I'm telling you, she's has a clearinghouse of everything that is going on, and I think it's incredible. Now, you can maybe explain a little bit more about this. Yvette is saying that Caroline and I are co-hosting a monthly challenge with 7 other creators. So do you want to put in a plug about that? Or is it too
Yes,
late?
it's the 12 by 12 Junk Journal Challenge 2025. Scrapbook Sage was the one that started that. And there's a few of us that we just post a couple videos a month. I think the idea started was to make a junk journal a month, but it's more now on things that are on your bucket list on stuff. So I tend to post more things on stuff that I want to use up, because 2025 for me was using up supplies that I've got,
Yeah.
and, getting rid of stuff.
Yeah.
So, I've been doing a couple videos a month just related to using up some scraps and stuff that I've had sitting around for who knows how long, trying to use it up and get it made into something to go out the door type idea. So yeah, it's been a nice little challenge, that one.
I've seen some of those videos on your channel. So it's not that that the contributors are scheduled to do a video a month. Everybody within the thing is posting every month,
Yeah. Usually we
their
post
own
two
schedule.
videos a month each.
Okay.
Each month kind of had a host,
Oh, I
but
see. Okay.
it wasn't really directed for oh, you got to do this, you got to do that. You pretty much get to do your own thing, really. And that's one reason why I went along with it, because sometimes, for a challenge, it's like, okay, well, this week we're making envelopes. Well, maybe this week I don't want to make envelopes. I want to do something else,
You rebel,
So,
you.
yeah. So for me, that's where challenges need to be very flexible, because if I'm not in the mood to make it, I ain't going to make it. Plain and
Yeah.
simple. So, yeah.
Um, Susie Allen is saying, sort of in support of what you said earlier, has that she has trouble coming up with an idea, but then when she sees it, she can run with it and go wild.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
And that's
that,
why I really like that dice challenge, because I've actually had people message me and say, I still use it. When I, have trouble coming up with an idea, I just roll the dice and I do whatever the dice are telling me to do. So it's nice that people are still kind of using that idea and playing along with it, just kind of on their own terms. So
well, and that's good, because I still have all the prompts. I could be doing that too. And I know that early on, I came up with my own system of prompts. But honestly, the more a person gets into this, it's like there are more ideas than there possibly time to execute them. So it's not like I'm stumped for ideas. It's when will I do these ideas? But I like the playful aspect of it, that it forces a person out of their comfy little go-to method of doing things.
yeah, yeah.
So Yeah, I appreciate that you created that. Another thing that you have talked about on and off in different videos, and in fact, it was in that ephemera video that I talked about, and I'm just going to repeat that for the people who signed in later. I don't know how long ago you would have done it, but anyway, I guess if you searched Caroline's channel and something to the effect of, what were you, sorting completed ephemera or something, might
Yeah, something like
get
that.
them
Yeah.
there. Yeah. Anyway, she had stacks of completed ephemera and ended up, they were grouped like with like, and she'd pick it up and say, "Oh, I did 40 of these, or I did 6 of these." And this was the gist of the idea. So in the space of that one video, you could get so many good ideas without having to watch, 35 videos. But you should watch them anyway. But let's face it, it saves time, and we can't all watch everything, goodness knows.
Yeah.
We don't even know what's happening on our own channels a lot of the time. And so I just wanted to repeat that because it's a good way to kickstart an idea. And I thought it was interesting. I'm not sure what it was. If it was the oversized tags with the beautiful old flowers.
Oh yeah,
There were a
that was a
couple
big
of
poster I got. I got a couple of big posters at the Lions Club that were all like the Canadian
provincial flowers,
yeah, and
and
there was like
and
shields and stuff like
yeah,
that there. And
coat
they
of
were actually
arms, yeah,
really, but it's like, what do I do with them?
yeah.
So, but
But maybe it wasn't that when it was. I think more than once you said, "I forgot I did this," and I'm thinking that happens to me
yeah.
too. You
Yeah,
know,
because I make the stuff and I stick it in like little containers and stuff. And I love to mass make one.
yeah,
You always say, well, if one is good, two has to be better, right? So, I'll sit down and I'll make 10, 20, 30, 40 of something. And then I put it away. Then when I do make a journal, it's just pop all this stuff out, pop it in the journal, you're done.
yeah.
And I would rather make the ephemera than I would make the journal.
Oh, okay. The truth is coming out now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
that if one is good, two is better, or six is better,
yeah.
is a Hazelism. One of the other things, and I'm just throwing this in, it has nothing to do with anything, other than this is sort of the farm mentality around here at the Anaka homestead. Why buy it for $50 if you can make it for 100?
That's right. Yep, that's right.
So yeah.
So,
Um, Now the other thing that quite often you talk about, and maybe you want to just say why you continue to attend, are I don't even know where it is, but somewhere, I guess fairly close to you, you attend retreats. Once a year, is it, or twice a year?
twice a year.
Okay.
And like I was never into paper crafting. Like years ago, if you would have asked me, paper crafting was making photos. And photos meant sticking them in an album that took up tons of room on your shelf. And to me, that's what paper crafting was. My sister put a video one day of somebody making a junk journal. She says, I want to make some of these. Well, I watched it and I'm thinking, oh, hey, that's pretty cool. I think
Yeah.
I'm going to make one. So I went around my house scavenging paper stuff and I made a simple little journal. I thought, this is kind of cool. Well, anyways, going to the retreats, I thought, oh, it'd be kind of fun to go to one. And then my friend Terry, that we have the crafting nights together, one night on a Thursday night when we were visiting, we just said, oh, wouldn't it be fun to go to one of these retreats? Well, then I found one that happens. It's about an hour away from where I live. And we thought, why don't we try and get into it? So we started going. And the first time we went, They usually are in March and October. Well, it was the March one, and there was a big snowstorm, and it knocked the power out. Well, we're out in the middle of nowhere. Like, they have it at a Bible camp that's in Falkland. And so there we are in the dark, no power, right? And you have 30 ladies that want to craft. Well, they set up some like floodlights that ran off a generator and stuff. But it kind of made a whole different aspect of the retreat. It was fun. It was like camping out almost type thing, but we still got to do our crafting. They had a beautiful wood fireplace, so we didn't get cold or anything like that.
Yeah.
But we go back every twice a year, and we go on a Thursday and we come home on the Sunday. And all the cooking is supplied for us. We don't even have to go outside. Like, we sleep like they have little dorms in the one building. So we don't even have to go outside if we don't want to. And we just craft, and it's such a blast. Most of the ladies do cards or scrapbooking. There is one other lady that does junk journals now. I kind of got her hooked into junk journals. So that's kind of nice. So I kind of don't fit in, but I do fit in,
Yeah.
So but
is
it's just so much fun. It's a blast.
Is it typically the same people that show up time after time? Or
Most of the time, it's the same lady that puts it on every year.
Yeah.
And every year there's probably maybe one or two new people.
Yeah.
But mostly it's the same people. And, you kind of get to know them and, become friends with them and stuff like that.
The part that I like about that is how it started out sort of with disaster, but talk about a great war story to repeat. And I can just imagine how it bonded everyone together.
Oh,
because,
yeah.
It forced everybody to sort of, well, hopefully laugh it off and cope with the situation.
It turned out it turned out all really, really good. And we always teach each other stuff. Like, even though nobody there really makes junk journals, and I don't really make cards or scrapbook, but you can still learn things from it, And that's the fun part, and even the scrapbookers and card makers can learn things from what I'm making, the little techniques or something. It's all fun.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and I think you're pretty lucky too that you have. Now, did you say that you and your friend get together weekly to craft?
Yeah, there's just during the winter, usually from like October-ish to usually March or April, we get together on Thursday nights. There's 4 of us that get together. The 3 of them make cards and I make journals. I usually end up taking like hand stitching or something, because really it turns into just laughing and talking. That's kind of all we do. Sometimes we don't even craft, but it's all just the fun of getting together and visiting.
That reminds me of those book clubs that involve more eating and wine than they do books.
Exactly. Yep.
I think that's incredible, and I have a soft spot for that, because I've found kind of a similar group in Edmonton, and we've got the weekly or not weekly, the monthly meetings and so on, and there have been some attempts at kind of field trips and whatnot. So that's really great. Now, I would say that when I went to Winnipeg last year, no, it's more than a year ago, or well, whatever. When I went to Winnipeg, Kim and I we sort of crashed, because I'm thinking, like, you kind of crashed the retreat as the journal maker. We kind of crashed this group that was getting together, but that group is more split, like I'd say almost half and half, between journal makers and scrapbookers. Well, I'm telling you, those scrapbookers, they're pretty territorial. They sit together. They brought everything except the kitchen sink to work on. I mean, I didn't know any better, so I would talk to anybody who'd talk to me, but I think typically they really they don't probably take as much advantage of each other's experience and presence as it sounds like the group. Mind you, you're gregarious, so you're probably infiltrating them because the majority of them are card makers.
Yeah, I don't have any trouble going up and saying, "Hey, what are you doing today?" You know,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
and
that's how
yeah,
I feel.
when you say that some of them take lots of stuff, like I am just shocked on how much stuff some of these people bring. I'm the type, I plan out what I'm going to make and I take what I need. And so my whole weekend is planned out on what I'm going to make and stuff. And I always take a little bit extra just in case, the projects don't take a lot. My friend Terry, she takes everything. She pretty much takes her whole craft room because she never knows what she's going to do.
Yeah.
And I figure I don't want to, well, there's no way I can take all my stuff. I mean, you know, and I don't usually work on journals because I never know what I want to put in them, and
Yeah.
maybe it's like, oh, hey, I can use this. Well, if I don't have it there. So I usually do ephemera or something. Like
Yeah.
in March, I did a bunch of beaded dangles and stuff like that there. So I took a lot of beads and stuff with me. Who knows what
Yeah.
I'll take in October?
Yeah.
I
Well,
decide usually about a week or two before I start planning what I'm going to do.
yeah.
So,
And I totally hear you when you say sometimes you get nothing done. Because, like I find with this Edmonton group, I kind of, and maybe there's a rebellious streak in us, or we march to our own drummer or something. Everyone else might be doing the project of the month, and it's good that there is structure or demos or whatever. But sometimes I'm thinking, who am I kidding? Why would I be dragging all this stuff there when the chances are I'm just going to fussy cut or I'm going to do some
yeah,
slow stitching?
yeah,
So to me, it's more about the people and the presence of being in that kind of a setting than it is about, oh, look what I did. Because honestly, that's not the reason I go.
yeah.
I
I
go for
mean,
the
I go to
companionship.
I figure, I can stay home and make the embellishments and the ephemera. I can easily do it at home.
Yeah.
But it's being around like-minded people. It's the environment. It's the food. The food is like so delicious. And yeah, it's like unbelievable. Like the lady makes us like homemade donuts and you get fresh baked bread and like this type of
Oh my
stuff.
goodness.
Like it's like unbelievable stuff. But it's more just the fun. Like, you spend the whole time laughing and giggling and yeah, sometimes you end up with having a serious conversation with somebody and stuff. But that's what it's all about. It's about the visiting, getting to know the
Yeah.
people and mostly just enjoying yourself and
Yeah.
being around people that like the same type of stuff. So,
I
but
just wanted to acknowledge that Teresa's here. I wasn't advancing this chat along the way. So hi, Teresa. Thank you for being here. Um, okay. Now Yvette is saying, but I don't know if that is like what do you call it? Auto correct or whatever.
yeah,
Caroline.
it's probably something to do with Oregon because that's where she lives.
Okay.
So, and that's where
So
Dawn lives too, is in Oregon. So,
okay, so yeah, she said you should have gone to the Oregon, and who knows what that next word is, junk journal retreat. Dawn and I are kicking around. Um, yeah. Well, that becomes a little harder once it's that far away or whatever, but
yeah,
yeah, it is a great way for us to expand our knowledge base and honestly build some, I think, pretty substantial friendships. Um, One thing I wanted to ask you, because you've referenced this a couple of times, I think it might even be, excuse me, in the description box on your channel. Um, Fab, what is that? Fabrica something something?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Come
uh,
on.
you have to be a
I
little
thought
more
it,
precise.
I thought it was something that you, I thought it was a place that you sell your stuff. Fa- Is it
I sell,
Fabrica in the title, in the name?
I have no,
Do I
I
have to?
sell, oh, Creative Fabrica. Kim
Oh,
just posted it in chat. Yeah. Creative Fabrica. I do sell my digitals on Creative Fabrica as well as coffee and Etsy. So
so can for those of us that are kind of stunned in that regard, can you say what that is exactly? Is it
Creative
just
Fabrica, it is a digital place. Like the only thing on there is digitals and patterns like knitting patterns, crochet patterns, cross stitch patterns, etc. Um,
okay?
so you can just go there and shop. You can pay for individual items, or you can buy like a monthly or a yearly membership, and then you can download pretty much everything's on there if you have a monthly or yearly subscription. And you can also start a shop on there, so then you get a commission of what you sell, but you also get a commission of anybody that say joins monthly or yearly, you get a commission of their yearly or monthly fees. So really you get an income whether you even sell anything or not. But as I say, it's all digital, 100% digital stuff.
Okay.
So,
So
and
is there,
it's a pretty big, well-known place actually.
well,
And I,
apparently, because
yeah,
Kim was jumping up and down and waving when I
yeah,
couldn't
yeah.
think of the
She
name.
had a shop on there at one time, but she doesn't anymore. So, or
Okay.
I don't think she does anymore. I don't know. But
Yeah.
it's actually out of the Netherlands, if I remember right. So,
Okay.
but of course it's worldwide because it's all online. So,
Yeah. Well,
but
that's cool. That's another opportunity for people to be aware of if they're
yeah.
looking to get their stuff out there and are digital creators. Um, but you said that there is a commission that gets
Yeah,
paid.
yeah, like so you get to post your digitals for free kind of. In order to have a shop, I believe you need either a monthly or a yearly subscription. I do the
Oh, I
yearly
see.
because I'm keeping it going. But you know that includes listing your stuff. Then when somebody directly buys one from you, then you get a certain amount of that.
Mhm.
But if you have a monthly subscription or a yearly subscription, you can usually download most of their content for that monthly or yearly subscription. So
Okay.
that's why you get a cut out of their monthly or their yearly subscription. You get, you know, a percentage of that. So, and the more things you list, the more money you make and stuff like that there.
Yeah.
So,
Do you agree with me that the whole listing process, regardless of whether it's a website, an Etsy store, a coffee shop, a creative, I would say Fabrica, but if you say Fabrica, I'll go with that. Um, that the listing process in itself is a real pain in the,
oh,
you know,
yes, definitely. Some places are a lot easier to list than other places. Out of the three places I belong to, coffee I find is the easiest to list at. Um, Etsy is definitely the hardest to list at. So,
yeah,
but you know, like different places, the thumbnails have to be different
oh
sizes
my
and
God.
that type of stuff. So, you know, it can be difficult in that aspect for sure.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, that drives me crazy. Hmm. I was, cutting and gluing, believe it or not, before we went live. And I was listening to somebody's or listening, watching with one eye, somebody's channel that I hadn't ever watched before. And there was a lot, it was art journaling, and she had worked in a lot of quotes and whatnot. And one of the things that, and it was kind of, inspirational and motivational and that sort of stuff. And one of the things she said is about accepting what is, because we can, and I have to say that sometimes I've wasted a lot of time and mental energy and brain power, sort of beating my head against the wall thinking, oh, this is so stupid. This is a bad policy. This is and the word tariffs come to mind, to be honest. Um, why did such and such a platform change their whatever, whatever? But the fact of the matter is, Hazel on a farm near Andrew or Caroline in southern British Columbia can't do a damn thing about those things. We can't change any of that. The change has to be up here. It's a matter of gracefully accepting that this is the way it is. And just sort of working around the system, changing direction, changing focus. You sound to me like you're pretty easygoing. That if you can't find a way through, you'll find a way around. Like it sounds to me like you're pretty resourceful. So, am I reading you right? Is that sort of your outlook on this whole stuff? That, I'm gonna make it work and I'm gonna do this, this, and this. And
Yeah, we pretty much have to, right? Um, I always told my kids, you can't change other people, you can only change yourself. And, you know, yeah, the platforms, they keep changing, what the criteria is, their whole algorithm. So then you have to change along with them or you're just going to get lost. Not that getting lost is a bad thing, but you do have to change, and you have to make the best you can out of whatever situation you're in. And hence one reason why I went to coffee and then Creative Fabrica, because I didn't want all my eggs in the Etsy basket for selling my digitals, because they were getting to the point where it seemed like they were just randomly shutting down people's shops because who knows why. A lot of times people didn't even know why their shop would get closed. And I thought, well, at any day I could go to log in and they would say, oh, sorry, too bad, so
yeah,
sad for you. So,
yeah,
I did. I altered the plans and I went to coffee and then I went to Creative Fabrica because now if something happens to one or the other, well, then I'm still kind of covered. Like, it's
yeah,
not like I make a whole ton of money or something. If we had to survive on my craft money, we would be homeless and starving, but it gives me craft money is what it does. It gives
yeah,
me the money so I can go to the Lions and buy all this junk that I buy. That's exactly what it is.
yeah,
So, and I'm just happy to get the stuff out there. I want to do it and I would do it rather, even if I couldn't get rid of it. But could you imagine how many journals we would have or how much ephemera we would have if we couldn't give it away or sell it? Like, I mean, I'd need another apartment, So it's nice that we can get outlets to get rid of stuff. And I want to
yeah,
try and do like promote YouTube more because I just like showing people what I've made or
yeah,
how I make it or what I make it out of. I
yeah,
like showing people all the junk that I get at the Lions or the thrift stores or that people give me or whatever.
yeah,
It's fun because maybe it'll give somebody an idea. Oh, hey, I've seen that. Oh, I got some of that.
yeah,
Who knows? And I've watched, thrift store hauls and stuff and think, I've never looked for that. I need to start looking in that department more or whatever to find whatever. Like I found this beautiful puzzle. It's all of butterflies and it's kind of very vintagey, but it's like a 1,500 piece puzzle. And all that I want is the butterflies out of it. And so while my sister's here, she's like, oh, Nova, that's my niece. She loves doing puzzles. So I'm sending the puzzle home with her. Nova's going to do it. Then Nova's going to bag just a little piece of the butterfly that I want into little individual baggies and send them back to me.
So actually, you have your first employee. Yeah,
Kind
you
of, yeah.
subcontracted out the job.
Yeah.
I just wanted to
Because,
say, oh,
yeah.
sorry. I just wanted
No,
to say hi to, oh, well, Kim is saying that we have to reinvent ourselves every morning. And that's
pretty
what I
much.
think
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
frequency is about, right? Trudy from Tucker and Tulip Designs is here. And just to put in a plug, Trudy, let me just check to be sure. I believe Trudy is my guest next week. So we have to tune in and see Trudy. Thank you for being here. Teresa is saying, right, Kim, every day is an adventure and we're all in line for the ride.
Yep.
That's true. Even if we don't quite measure up to the height restrictions.
Yeah.
Um, and Connie is here from the Brass Twig. So hi and welcome. Of course, I just interviewed her 2 or 3 weeks ago. So yeah, when you, when you were talking about if we had to live off what we earn, we'd be homeless and starving. So maybe what we need is next to every thrift store, we need a food bank just for artists and creatives like
Yeah. There.
us.
Yeah.
Kill two birds with
Yeah.
one stone.
That's right. Yeah.
Um,
But I do believe like gathering up the stuff, organizing the stuff, and using the stuff are three different hobbies. They really, really are. So, and I'm really good at the first two. So,
well, and I didn't even do my usual questioning about thrifting because I know that you love it. And I know you've scored some incredible stuff at the Lions Club. And I was so tickled pink to get some of those Denison labels from you. That was a real treat, to be honest. Um, so, and I haven't asked the purple question because I know the answer. Purple is your favorite
yeah.
color. I will ask though the question about, are you an introvert?
Uh, yeah, I don't like crowds. Um, yeah, but I don't really like being by myself either. But I was very shy growing up. But if I was around people that I knew, I was okay. But around strangers, yeah, didn't usually go very well.
Yeah.
So, but I find as I get older, I'm less and less that way. Like now I don't have any trouble going up to strangers and talking to them, or, like when we first started going to the retreat and, that type of
Yeah.
stuff. But you're never going to find me at like some big concert or something like that because, yeah, I can't handle that many people.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I think that, yeah, I think that describes most of us, to be honest. Um, so I always give people the opportunity. Oh, we've been here a while. I always give people the opportunity to plug something or promote something or talk about what's coming up. So, what are your sort of maybe long or short range plans for your channel? You said you want to
well,
put a little more emphasis on a little more
yeah,
emphasis on the
yeah.
channel.
I would like to, start doing more videos. Like, I kind of was doing really good. I was posting 3 videos a week and stuff. And then just things happen and I wasn't able to. And then, you always get in those things where, I don't feel like doing anything today. So I went through a little stage of that, but now I'm back, everything is, the move and the thought of moving was kind of stressful and,
Yeah,
but now that things are all settled down and whatnot, I'm getting back into the 3 videos a week, and
yeah.
I would
Unless
maybe
they cut
like to go to
into
4 or something.
your thrifting time.
That's right. Yeah. Always got to pay attention to that. But I do want to try and get to 5,000 subscribers this year. Um, I have to admit, going from 4,000 to 5,000 has been kind of slow, but it always seems to go in little spurts and stuff.
Yeah.
And then now with
Well, let's
getting my
hope
blog
that,
going and of course my shops, I like making the stuff. So, I'll continue, but a lot of the times I'll get sidetracked. Like my thought will be, oh, I'm going to get up, I'm going to do some digital stuff before I start doing other stuff. Well, next thing you know, I didn't get anything digital done and I'm off doing something else. So trying to get myself a little more scheduled on, okay, you know, do a little bit every day on all these different things and maybe I'll get them done, but
Yeah.
probably not. So,
Well, and I, at the risk of repeating myself, it might have even been last week when I said that I talked to, well, through a chat, obviously, talked to Pam from the Paper Outpost, and not too shabby. I haven't checked
yeah,
lately what her subscriber numbers are, but she's obviously doing something right. And I said, how in the world do you possibly get all these things done that you do? Because of course she's a digital creator, she has her newsletter, she does many videos and a podcast. And she said that she sort of blocks out her month and she'll devote 1 week out of the month just to digital work. So, and we have the ability to pre-tape and schedule our videos. So
yeah,
it
yeah.
sounded so darn logical when she said it, and yet have I adopted that plan? No. So it seems I'm more like a seat of the pants kind of person, which I don't know. I guess
Mm.
it's just the way it is.
Yeah. I try to have a couple videos ahead.
Yeah.
It doesn't always work that way. Um, but on the other hand, like I couldn't block out my week and say, okay, well, this day, this day, this day, I'm going to work on this because I don't know until I wake up what I want to work on. And I'm the type that if I don't want to work on it, then I've got absolutely no creative mind to do it. But if I get an idea in my head and I want to do that, man, things just flow like you wouldn't believe. So when it actually comes to the crafting and stuff, you know, I can't pre-plan it. And even my videos, some days I'll do 4 or 5 videos and then I won't make any for a week or two,
Yeah.
because I'm just geared up on a day to do it. No.
As you were, yeah, this is where my mind goes. As you were talking about that, I don't know what I'm going to do till I wake up, and then if it's going good, it's going. Could it be the fact that you craft in your pajamas?
I don't know.
There's no break in continuity there by having to change clothes.
Uh,
She just jumps right in.
yeah. Well,
I
and
might
two,
have to
like
try that.
I'm really bad for, if I'm gluing something and I get glue on my fingers, I don't use a wet wipe or a paper towel. I wipe them on my clothes. Just habit. And so I don't want to wreck my clothes and go downtown with glue stuck all over my clothes or something. But I don't, Kim and I we've mentioned to each other that some days we have so many ideas, we just don't know where to start. Like you just don't
Yeah,
know which one of the ideas to do.
yeah,
And some days is like that. And I don't get anything done because I can't decide with all the ideas bouncing around in my head. I can't
yeah.
decide which one I want to try.
And
So,
I think honestly, it also depends a bit on one's energy level too. And, as you say, state of mind. Because honestly, the easiest thing in the world is to default to collaging. We are masters at cutting or tearing and gluing stuff to other stuff.
yep,
And honestly, I think some of us could do that till the day we die and would be quite content to do that.
yep,
So sometimes it does take, an obligation, a challenge, a promise to somebody else, um, a schedule to keep that actually gets us off the pot and doing something more than
yeah,
just cutting and gluing.
yeah, yeah. So, and I've had like people have asked, like, what do you put in a junk journal? I tell them if I can glue it, tack it, staple it, whatever, I can use it. And the other thing is, what do you do with them, right? What do you do with a junk journal? I
Yeah,
tell them whatever you would do with any other book.
yeah.
And the other thing is, you take new stuff, you cut it apart, put it back together, and make it look old and used. You know, So
I know. Try to make that sound logical or
yeah,
reasonable to
exactly.
anybody.
So
I think we need to start winding down, but I think if you don't mind, I wouldn't mind if you end with just telling the group what you were telling me before we went live, which was the request that your sister made of you. What she wants you to build for her.
oh yeah.
And
My one of
and
my
to see
sisters asked me to make her a journal, which I said okay. Well, then one day she says, "Oh, coming by." So she brings a bag full of stuff that she had to put in her journal. And she brings this great big, huge recipe book. Like it's probably about 8.5 by 11.5. I've never made a journal that big. And it's got about at least a 2-inch spine. So, and she brought a big, huge piece of paper of stuff she wants and doesn't want in her journal. So it's going to be a bit of a chore to make it because it's not something I'm used to. But yeah, so I've pieced together a whole bunch of papers. She doesn't want any papers like out of a book or anything because she wants to be able to write on the pages herself. She brought a couple maps and that type of stuff to use in it, but it's going to be very eclectic because she likes the stars and the moon. She likes Monopoly. She likes hunting. She likes fishing. So none of her hobbies, ideas are going to fit together in a book, but I'll figure out how to work it. She doesn't want much for lace. She doesn't like bling. Her colors are like black, white, and gray. So, colors I don't really like, but we'll make do. We'll figure it out somehow.
and then she prescribed what the other um signature should look like.
Yeah, yeah. One's for her granddaughter, which will be purple. One's for her grandson, which will be blue. But she'll text me or phone me and she'll say, "Oh, hey, I've been looking at your digital kit, such and such. I like pages 2 and 6, you know." Or she'll put in her video, "I was watching your video and you made this pocket, so I would like one of those in my journal." And it's like, okay, I'll do my best.
Well, and as you were repeating what she wanted, I was thinking, okay, so you need a guy in cam or a woman in camo, um, playing Monopoly by the light of the moon.
Yeah, yeah,
Problem solved.
yeah. But when we were kids, we used to draw names for Christmas. And my dad would give us $5 to go out and buy the other person a gift. Well, one year, my sister, she got a Monopoly game. And she still has that Monopoly game with all the original pieces. And so it's probably, I don't know, 50 years old, maybe even 55 years old. She's had that game. And to still have all the original pieces and everything is like pretty amazing. But yeah, she's found me a few old Monopoly things to add into her journal. So
Well, and one thing I discovered from attempting the New York Times crossword puzzle is that every so often Monopoly playing pieces get retired because sometimes the clue is what Monopoly piece was retired in 2013.
yeah,
So she probably has something of value there.
yeah,
Anyway, Teresa is saying that is she going to let you put the journal on YouTube because she'd love to see it? And I
yeah.
think that is your intention to.
Yes, I plan on doing a whole series on making this journal because it is an oversized journal. So it's kind of going to be something totally different, but I won't be posting any of the videos until I'm done and she has the journal because I don't want her to see it until she has it and then she can't change her mind on what she wants.
Yeah. I think that you've also summed up there the best and the worst of accepting commission work, whether it's
Yes,
paid
yes,
or not. The
yeah,
fact that somebody is micromanaging this process. Um, well, I guess when I say micromanaging, that sounds kind of judgmental.
yeah,
When someone is directing the process to that degree, it sort of ties your creative hands to some degree.
Yeah.
But on the
I
other hand, if you're making something that you know is going to go to a specific person, it's pretty hard to do it if you don't have a clue about what they like,
yeah.
because you could
Yeah.
end up inadvertently using colors they hate or subject matter that
Yeah.
means nothing
Yeah.
to them. So
Yeah.
I will be watching that with interest myself
Yeah.
because it's a tall order, I'd say.
Yeah, and in some ways, I'm looking forward to the challenge because it's really going to make me get creative with the page size and what to put in it. Because you can't do the typical of just throw in a whole bunch of lace, or something,
Yeah,
because she doesn't want lace. So, a little bit of lace is okay, but not like too much.
yeah.
So it's going
You
to be a challenge, but I'm up for it, and I know I can make her something that she likes.
Hey,
So.
since you're the queen of dyeing stuff, can you dye something camel?
I don't see why. What you would get out of it would depend on, especially if you got like a camel that was like lighter colors or something. I think you could end up with some really cool effects on some of those colors.
Yeah.
But
So
but some
keep
of it's kind of darkish, so it wouldn't dye quite as much. But
no,
so.
but I mean, start out with something out of your basket of whites and create your own camo design.
Oh, well, yeah, because you could just drop something like alcohol inks and spots, and it's only going to create like a small circle because it evaporates so fast. But the
Yeah.
colors would be very, very intense. But I've watered down alcohol inks and used them. So
She would probably be pretty impressed if you made like do it yourself camo lace for her
yeah, well, yeah,
or a
that's true.
camo
Yeah,
fabric cover that
yeah,
you dyed with your
yeah.
own little
That's a
pen.
good idea. I might have to experiment with that and see where it takes me.
Yeah. Anyway, I think it's time to say goodnight. So I very much appreciate those of you who have been here tonight, who have interacted in the chat, who have asked questions, who have expressed interest. Of course, if you are viewing this after the fact, then I welcome that as well, because I know that no matter the day or the time, it's not going to be convenient for everyone. Caroline, I want to thank you for being here. You were a little unsure as to whether you had the technical setup to do this. I think you also said this is the first time you've faced the camera, so I appreciate you doing that as well. And it's been really fun to kind of get to know you better. I don't really have any plans for travel to BC, but honestly, I feel like I need to I need to get there. See your table, go to the
Well,
Lions.
you and I have to get together, and we'll have to go visit Kim.
Oh yes, that too.
Yeah.
Um,
I appreciate you asking me to join you, and I appreciate everybody that came in and said hi and listened to us ramble on and on. So it
yeah.
was fun.
Susie is saying, Caroline, you're a joy to listen to. And if Susie finds her way to your channel, you will find her to be a very loyal and interactive subscriber.
Yeah, I
And
hope
obviously
everybody that isn't subscribed, I hope they will come and join me on my channel as well.
yeah. Well, and I think I've dropped enough hints about the range of your talent that they should get there.
Uh,
And of course, I think Teresa probably is familiar with your channel because it seems to me that she started or did some work with the CCT 52 last year. I know she was certainly interested in what I was doing with my prompts.
yeah.
Carol is saying it's been so fun. Caroline, thanks for sharing. An excellent job again, Hazel. Trudy is saying nice to meet you, Caroline, and that she will subscribe. Um, and Jonna is saying, fun, interesting interview. Denise is saying, awesome interview. Great to meet you, Caroline. And she says, love your accent. Did you know that
I
you
don't have an accent.
whatever do you
or no, or
mean?
not that I know of. So it was a lot of fun. So,
Oh, and Ange is saying, great night, ladies. Great to see you live and in person. So, yes, thanks everybody. And don't forget that next week is Trudy from Tucker and Tulip Designs. And I do have the whole, like, obviously August is, I can't believe August is almost done, but I do post on my channel the month. As soon as I get all the slots filled, I post it on my channel, as well as obviously sending it to Susan. I totally love it. I totally love her. I could, no, I think I'll wait till next week to do some name dropping for September, but it's another great lineup of people. So yeah, thanks guys. Thanks, Caroline. And I will
thanks.
be contacting you privately for a little lesson, but
Okay.
probably after harvest.
Okay. Anytime you're ready, just let me know. I'll
Okay.
do what I can to help.
Okay.
So,
So good
goodbye,
night
everybody.
and good luck with that that commission for your sister.
Thanks.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.